In less than 24 hours, Highguard lost 90% of its player base. And now just 2 weeks later, 2 short weeks, the game is on the verge of complete shutdown. What we're seeing here is a pattern among live service games. And one thing is in common with all of them. Players are fucking sick of it, dude. Every time a brand new live service game is revealed, the immediate reaction is to call it a brand new Concord, because people just don't want this. The average gamer isn't looking for this kind of experience. In fact, most gamers actually have a live service game that they're dedicating a good chunk of their gaming time to, and they're not interested in hopping off and spending time on another one unless it's absolutely mind-blowing. And I'll tell you straight up, while I think Highguard wasn't a bad game at all, it was not mind-blowing in any form. And it also launched with tons of issues, tons of problems that having a beta right after the reveal at the Game Awards would have likely squashed because they would have had time to regroup and rethink and launch the game in a much better state. But they thought they knew better, as do most game studios that release games like this. They think they know exactly what people want and they release a game to 30 players, just like Relooted has. That's not a good thing. That means you're making a game for no one. Sure, you have a great message. I understand what Relooted is trying to do. I think the concept is cool, but nobody wants to play this game. Nobody's interested in it. We've seen Horizon Hunter's Gathering be announced and immediately be called out as being the next Concord and being written off as an absolute failure just because the game features a fat chick with one leg. And yeah, I don't want to play as that character, but it's not the only character in the game. And aside from the bad character design, the actual gameplay itself looks engaging and fun. And if you have a couple friends, I'm sure it'll be a great time, just like how Elden Ring Night Rain was. Yeah, it probably won't be as good as Night Rain, but it looks like it'll still be a good game that will, you'll get a full experience out of, and then you'll move on after a month. Not every game needs to last forever, but they definitely need to last longer than 2 weeks like Highguard did. So this news originally broke directly on LinkedIn, where one of the staff members of Wildlight posted this message. Unfortunately, along with most of the team at Wildlight, I was laid off today. This one really stings as there was a lot of unreleased content I was really looking forward to that I and others designed for Highguard. And the official statement comes from Wildlight Entertainment. Today we made an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping a core group of developers to continue innovating on and supporting the game. We're proud of that team, talent, and the product we've created together. We're also grateful for players who gave the game a shot, and those who continue to be a part of our community. It's fine that they're saying that, but this is the death signal. You let off almost the entire team, you've canceled content plans, there's really very little hope that this game is going to continue on. Now, is it because the game itself was terrible? No. It's because the game wasn't good enough. And right now, with the amount of games that come out on a literal daily basis, there are too many excellent games trying to get your attention that if you're barely good, there is 0% chance that you're gonna stand out. 0. In fact, most of my multiplayer live service time is dedicated to Deadlock, and I'm absolutely addicted to it, and I think that game's amazing. Because it's made by Valve, and they know what they're doing. They know how to make an engaging game, they know how to keep you locked in on a game, and they know how to make you continue to play a game for years upon years upon years. Highguard didn't have that. They didn't even have their basic gameplay set up properly. The game should have launched as a 3v3v3 or a 4v4v4 or a 5v5v5, had way more going on during the initial phases, had a more focused gameplay elements where you do the raid bases, had more varied weapons, had more mounts, had just more to the actual game itself. It was fun, it just needed way more work to be sustainable. But even if you're a developer who has all sorts of skills and knows how to keep people engaged, like Riot, you can also fall into the exact same trap, like how we saw with 2KXO, which, by the way, should be apparent to literally fucking everybody. That's one of the worst names that you can have for a game ever. Horrible name. Whoever came up with 2KXO, you're dumb. I'm sorry, but you're dumb. 10 years of development, only 12 characters, noob-unfriendly tag team focus, IP not familiar to FGC, game not approachable from existing IP fans, truly god-awful name. Who is this game for? Exactly. And it's why, after being full release for literally 2 or 3 months, 2KXO has basically shut down. They're reducing the team size, they're letting go of tons of people, and they're basically giving up on the game. It didn't have the impact that they wanted. Because if you want to break into the fighting game market right now, your fighting game needs to be better than some of the best fighting games ever released, because people right now are playing those games. So the only way to get them off of those games is if your game offers something better. Look at Overwatch, for example. tons of people were playing Overwatch, okay? Everybody loved Overwatch. Overwatch 2 came out, you brought some people back, some people left because they didn't love the changes and stuff. Then Marvel Rivals hits the scene, which is Overwatch, except it does everything better. They're really updating that game and spending time on it. So everybody shift to Marvel Rivals, a massive launch, tons and tons of players. And now Overwatch seeing that goes, hey, we've got to make a fucking change here or we're done for. And they did. And now they've come out to a brand new relaunch, relaunching as Overwatch with adding 5 new characters in one go, new maps, and they got a whole new content plan because they know that they need this to keep people engaged. It's the only way. You have to make an excellent game or your game will fail. The Finals, another example of a game that's actually very, very good, but it's not really approachable, and that's why it doesn't have a huge player base. But Embark made another game called Arc Raiders that everybody knows about, and that game is easier to get into, and it's why it's insanely popular and people love it. And no, Escape from Tarkov is not pulling people away, but Marathon might pull people away from Arc Raiders because now they have an understanding of what an extraction shooter is, and Marathon seems to be a more hardcore game. I played it. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, to be honest. I think I'm still under NDA. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say I played it. I won't say anything. I enjoyed it, I'll say that. But it looks like that game's gonna come out and potentially pull people away. That game has a chance to continue on. It's a more strategic, more in-depth, more hardcore focused extraction shooter. It offers something similar, but it offers something a little bit different. So now there's 2 that can exist in the space. One that's a little bit more casual, one that's a little bit more hardcore. But you both have to be excellent, or one will fall off, the other one will rise, and that one will die. It happens time and time and time again. And I gotta be honest, I didn't want Highguard to fail. I don't want any game to fail. I think games should succeed, but do I think that they deserve to succeed? No, I think there needs to be a reason. I think you as the developer needs to convince us, the players, that your game is worth succeeding. I don't want people to lose their jobs. I think it sucks that you wasted your time on a game and that it's just gonna completely fail. That sucks, you know? You're dedicating your life to this game to making a good game. You want it to come out and be good and have people enjoy it. So when it's not, it sucks. It does suck and I feel bad for you. But if your game is not good enough, then you really didn't do your job properly, you know what I mean? Because your job is to make sure that we want to play the game. So if you didn't make sure that we want to play it, you didn't hit the bar that you're supposed to hit. And it sucks to say, I think there was potential. But like how Legendary Drops is saying, people just didn't like the game, and if they involved people who gave them real feedback early instead of people gaslighting them, things could have been different. 100%. From playing this game on day 1 for a few hours, you're instantly able to see that this game needs tons and tons of work for it to be sustainable and for it to be actually good. You know, like the bar is here of goodness to get people to keep playing, and you're about here. There's people who are interested, you got your hooks on the way in, but there's not enough to keep people going. The stuff that they added even within the first week, like the 5v5 mode, rank coming up, new map, new hero and stuff, that stuff should have all been there day 1. What are you doing, man? You cannot launch in this kind of state. You can't. Not in the current modern day of gaming. You cannot. You will be dead in 2 weeks. You're Concord. You're literally Concord. The Highguard reveal was horrible, man. Horrible. And I know people are blaming Jeff Keighley, saying like, the game failed because of him. Jeff hyped it up too much. No, it's got nothing to do with that. This game was not ready. It's the same thing with Marathon. If Marathon actually launched last year when it was going to launch, it would have been dead, dude. Dead. The amount of changes that game has gone through within the past year have been crazy, dude. Crazy. Now it's ready for release. But back then, no way. And Highguard's the same. It was not ready for release. Absolutely not. They doomed themselves. You had one shot and you doomed yourself. You need to make an actual great game or you're going to die. It sucks, but it's what it is.